Hey guys, this is Charlotte, and you're watching Going In Raw.
Hey, Brendo, Steve here.
And Lars.
Yeah, welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found, and of course, taped live at the twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. No pay-per-views to watch with us this weekend, which is
shocking,
odd, weird. There's always like a lull in the summertime before SummerSlam, around Money in the Bank time. There's usually kind of a lull. So, we were loaded up last month with pay-per-views. Now things are chilling out a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Saturday night, unless there's an emergency, I'll be doing some Unsolved Mysteries at Twitch. Me and the Enforcer. We watch an episode of Unsolved Mystery. I think we got the season finale of season 2.
Oh wow! Episode
this
20,
coming week. It's 19 or 20, I think.
Wasn't it like there's only 19 or 20 episodes, and then they repackaged season 1 stuff
easy money.
Tack on more stuff at the end of season 2.
Easy money for the people.
You know, when the networks come calling for more episodes, and sometimes you gotta make lemonade out of lemons. That's probably why the clip show was invented.
Yeah, they're like, we'll see. Remember that episode of Next Generation? That it was like the only clip show they ever did. It was the end of season 2. It's like, could you imagine being like a mark for Star Trek, and then at the end of season 2, they're like, oh, cool. The Riker got into some issues, and then it just ends up being like a clip show. Remember the finale of Seinfeld? That was a clip show.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of clip shows, Raw was on last night. It's always heavy on recaps anyways. But I thought it was especially, that main event was something else.
I told you, man. It was great.
It was pretty awesome. There was a lot to appreciate with Raw last night. I feel like they're like on the road to becoming on par with SmackDown.
Well, it feels like they finally got a couple of really compelling stories, which is, what are you eating?
What
are you eating?
Or my adult gummy supplements.
Oh, you trying to sneak something in there? I saw that.
Buddy, sometimes you got to cover for me a little bit, I pop it in because I know you're about to talk, and so nobody will know the difference.
Now, but see, when I see that, I'm like, oh, wait, what is he eating? I'm just curious at that point. I can't stop myself from being curious.
I guess not. The human mind wants to know, right?
Yeah. Well, anyway. I used to eat gummy vitamins, and then, I don't know, for whatever reason, here's the thing about vitamins. I'd always get them, I'd take them for a few weeks, and then forget about them.
You ever watch me sneak one of my biotin tablets, too?
Yes, you've done that before. Did you just eat lunch? Do you not want to take this stuff on an empty stomach or something?
No, I don't care. I know.
Okay.
I'm just sitting here. I sit because I'm at this desk so often.
Yeah.
They're just here. So I'm like, well, Larson's about to talk. I'm not. So I'll just go ahead and do this now.
All right. Okay, very well. Anyways, the thing is with Raw now, they have not just one, but 2 pretty compelling storylines going right now with interesting characters doing interesting things. Of course, on SmackDown, you got Roman, who's pretty much like the best thing in wrestling right now because he's so damn compelling. But the storyline they got going now with Kofi and MVP is really good stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's still a lot of mileage they can get out of that. Even potentially after Money in the Bank, if they want to do Lashley Brock, that falls through. You can still get another match. I would think out of Kofi and Lashley, and then of course Riddle, Randy Orton, still really interesting stuff. That note that Riddle wrote to try to take Orton's place was fantastic. He's been doing some really good character work ever since he's been paired with Randy. It seems like they found a pretty happy medium between doing the intentionally kind of obnoxious stuff that he does a lot, and then like last night he was literally trying to channel Randy Orton. That's interesting. Interesting.
I'm gonna indulge in something that I probably shouldn't, and it's a bit of hyperbole. They have an opportunity here to tell a story, and I don't have faith that they will because this stuff is reserved for NXT. But if played right, this Riddle Randy Orton stuff can be like feud of the year type stuff or story of the year type stuff. Like, I don't know that anything's ever going to be Ciampa Gargano, although I kind of feel like Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai is going to be that next thing because I think that's going to be hot when it gets off. But Riddle Orton is number one. I think people are going to be shocked and not shocked by just how over Riddle's going to be in front of fans. He's going to be. Has he been in front of main roster fans, or did he get called up during? I thought he got called up during like Performance Center or SmackDown, didn't he? When he had those matches with AJ, wasn't that in front? That was in front of no fans, wasn't it? Am I wrong about that?
So
I don't remember. I
Here,
swear
keep
I thought
talking.
it was,
I'll look into it.
So Riddle is going to be massively over when Randy Orton is doing his best work, and I think that he really enjoys this stuff with Riddle.
Yeah, that seems pretty obvious.
This is going to be huge, or this has at least the opportunity to be a huge, like year-defining story.
Yeah, so Riddle made his debut May 29th, 2020.
Okay,
SmackDown,
yeah.
PC era.
He's going to be massive in front of fans. Nikki Cross is going to be massive. That fun splash, I can never get tired of that fun splash off the top when she just goes flying through the air.
I know.
She's going to be over simply because everybody loves her. It's going to be, remember how over the Hurricane was? It's going to be, I mean, to draw the obvious parallel, it's going to be up there with that, except the Hurricane, he was super over, but whenever he would try to mix it up with like, you know, the bigger names, you know, he would get his little choke slam in or something, or they'd realize that he was trying to choke slam, then they'd take care of him. Nikki might actually win some titles.
Didn't the Hurricane pin The Rock?
He pinned The Rock, yes.
Right.
I don't think it was like a legit. I think Stone Cold like probably
you know,
distracted or something. But Nikki she doesn't have the size disadvantage that the Hurricane did, that they were never going to have him win like the big title. She could win the Raw Women's Championship or the SmackDown Women's Championship. That's a possibility. I'm not going to say it's going to happen. It's a possibility. She's going to be massive. They've got some good stuff. Even the Morrison Miz Ricochet backstage segment last night was wildly entertaining. Ricochet, as you have mentioned, he has seemed more comfortable over the past year, especially I think when he started wearing the pants and he was on Main Event a lot. I think that sort of maybe, I don't know, loosened him up a little bit. I don't know what it was, but
I think he actually got a lot out of that feud with Ali, where it's like, hey, we're seemingly on our own here.
I think you're probably right.
I think he was cutting some good promos on Twitter.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Back and forth with Ali, it seemed to loosen him up.
The match with Morrison was outstanding. That final spot where it's like, you know, I'm not a huge fan of double countouts, but when it's motivated and it makes sense. Oh my God, that made sense last night.
Yep.
That was great. Yep. It was great. Even like, dude, I've been late, especially over the past year. Miz has bugged the crap out of me. Miz in a wheelchair is pure comedy. It really is. Like it works great when Ricochet launched himself off of Miz's wheelchair. It was all good stuff. It moved along. I thought that there was a lot to appreciate. I think they're getting to the point where, especially once a couple more weeks go by and we have fans, I think they'll be in a really good spot to take advantage of the stuff that they've been setting up over the past few weeks. So this Riddle Orton stuff is really interesting stuff. Yeah. I mean, it was kind of a ballsy move last night, having him go so deep into the Randy Orton, I'm Randy Orton thing, and I kind of wonder where they're going to take that. I don't know. Is it going to be like what was that movie? Single White Female? Is that the one where she was like trying to be the person? I don't know. I don't know where they're going to take it. If it's just going to be, if they're going to go over, if he's going to cross a certain line.
Well, did you notice last night during the main event that Riddle usually has his hair down? He had it pulled back in a ponytail.
Yeah.
Just little subtle things like that.
Yeah. So I don't know where they're going to take it. It's really, really good stuff. It's going to be interesting to see Randy Orton's response. I haven't checked his Twitter or not to see if he's responded to the performance last night. Obviously, Randy Orton's not going to be in Money in the Bank now. Drew's in there just from a performance standpoint. Drew McIntyre deserves to be in that match, though.
Man, the last 9 days, he has gotten beat up. Beat up. No, I think from a story perspective, I thought it's obviously interesting, and that's why I picked Orton to win. That it would have been interesting to have Riddle win last night. Especially if they do the idea of like maybe his foot is actually broken, but he doesn't want to let Orton down, so he goes out there and wins. to get Orton a spot, maybe at the expense of his own chances of winning Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
interesting stuff.
Yeah,
But
no,
if the
it
story
is, yeah.
with Drew is he gets the spot, maybe on the precipice of winning, someone comes out, costs him. You know, that could potentially be interesting for Drew as well. I just want interesting storylines.
Yeah,
with
sure,
compelling
yeah,
characters.
absolutely,
And
yeah.
I even thought last night Drew's promo was a step in the right direction. I know he kind of teased the moment in history again, but then he spun that off into something else.
He put a twist on it. But
Yeah.
what do we always say when they set up expectations and then they turn them on their side? You know, they flip them.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the best stuff is. When they play with your expectations. You always mention how the favorite stuff of yours is when they do that in the ring, when wrestlers are expecting one thing and then they counter it, they flip it, they mess with the concept. You know, it's always good stuff. There's a lot of places they can go with this Randy Orton Riddle stuff. I was actually really hoping that Riddle would have won that match to get Randy in Money in the Bank, because I think that you can obviously tell, you have the luxury of being able to tell this Orton Riddle story away from the title, but my God, how hot would it be? I do think this is one of those things that if you add the title into it, it can be huge. It can be even bigger.
I don't even think you necessarily need the title at this point. Imagine if Riddle won Money in the Bank. What does Orton want? Typically, more than anything else, he wants the title.
Yeah, sure.
And how much is that going to eat at him to see his tag team partner, someone he could barely stand, it seems like, but on a certain level respects, next to him, who admires him so much, and yet he's holding the thing that Randy probably wants almost just as much as anything else. A surefire title opportunity. You know?
Well,
that's
yeah.
really good, compelling stuff.
You know what it is. I know you appreciate the movie. You're just not a fan of the ending. There'll be blood.
Mm-hmm.
When his brother shows up, or his brother, spoiler alert,
Yeah.
his brother
Yeah.
shows up, right? And what
Orton
is,
turns to Riddle and says, I got a competition in me.
because Orton, it's not like he's driven by a desire to be champion, but he hates to see others succeed. If it means at his cost.
Expense, yes.
Right. And so Riddle winning, that would drive him insane because of who Riddle is. You know, basically a jackass in his eyes. But he's one that he understands, you know what? It's harmless for me to succeed in the tag scene with Riddle, and he's kind of growing on me. Well, that's going to come to a stop when Riddle succeeds instead of Orton. Mm-hmm. And, you know, as we saw in There'll Be Blood, that never ends up good.
No.
Brutal
No.
scene. What a brutal outcome that poor bastard had. You guys should check that movie out.
Let's take a quick break here to get a word from the sponsor of today's show, Sheath. So, Steve, I believe you're a boxer brief guy, yeah?
Yeah, man. I like to keep my business secure, but I also need some room to let my dude parts breathe, you know?
All right. Well, let me tell you about these Sheath boxer briefs I got on. They're designed to keep your man bits off your legs. See, I got a pair right here. See, there's 3. Where is it? There it is.
Oh, look at that.
3 individual compartments.
Uh-huh.
See, right here.
Yeah.
To keep everything down here
Yeah.
separate and cool and comfortable. Think about it this way, Steve. Think about it this way.
Okay.
Sheath's got an inverted kangaroo pouch. I got my hands on it right here
Yeah, stop.
for your Joey, which
Yeah.
goes in pouch right here to keep you from sticking to your thigh.
Yeah, stop touching where your Joey is, man. Anyways, you got a good point, though. I don't like when things get sticky down there, unless I want them to get sticky down there. You know what I mean? Talking about
Yes,
sex.
yeah. So Sheath's got a modern ergonomic design that's intended to prevent skin-on-skin contact for extended periods of time, which can cause heat and sweat. And let me ask you this.
What?
When you get heat and you get sweat and you put them together, what do you get?
Smelly, nasty funk. It's junk funk. It's funk that emanates from your junk, and nobody likes that. I'm sure there might be some fetishists out there who like that, but otherwise, nobody should like that.
That's correct, but Sheath prevents all of that because everything is separate. See? Look at that.
I see
separate.
it. Stop showing everybody your underwear.
That means no smelly undercarriage. That means you'll chafe and readjust way less.
That's right. So if you want to keep your front area cool and comfortable, stop showing your underwear. Go to Sheath. Go to sheathunderwear.com/raw for 20% off your order today. That's SHEATH underwear.com/raw. Make sure to use promo code RAW at checkout.
Trust us, you'll be doing your junk a favor by going to sheathunderwear.com/raw for 20% off. Again, that's sheathunderwear.com/raw, 20% off.
I don't want to see. Put your underwear away, please. So, yeah, good stuff. We'll just go ahead and dive into it.
Sure.
It opened up with Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce announcing that Randy Orton cannot compete in tonight's second chance match. He says, I think due to circumstances out of our control, something like that. We never did get an answer on that. He says, but instead, we're doing an over-the-top rope battle royal where the winner of this gets to be in the triple threat match tonight for the second chance. Riddle shows up and he says, whoa, wait. He says, I've got a letter. You guys need to check this out. It's from Randy Orton. And basically the letter is, it looks like it's written by like a 7-year-old.
It's a green marker.
Yeah, and clearly it's Matt Riddle. But it basically says Riddle can fight on Randy Orton's behalf in that match. And they look at it and they're like, okay, dude, clearly Randy Orton didn't read this.
You drew a little snake here.
There's a little snake. There's a little viper here. And he said, Riddle's like, oh, man, come on. He was like, how about this? Let me in the battle royal. And if I win, I get to be in that match for the triple threat. And if I win that, Randy gets to be in Money in the Bank.
Yep.
And they say, okay, yeah, but you better get out there quick. So he runs out there. And then we get our Money in the Bank battle royal qualifier with Riddle, Drew Gulak, Mustafa Ali, Mansoor, Cedric Alexander, the Viking Raiders, Shelton Benjamin, Damian Priest, Garza, Carrillo, Tozawa, Truth, Jeff Hardy, and Jinder. And there's a couple little stories being told here.
There was. I always appreciate that. Even these little battle royals, you get these stories in. So yeah, Damian Priest is back as well. I don't know if you mentioned him.
Yeah,
it was great to see him back. Drew Gulak's first eliminated by Shelton Benjamin. And then Jinder eliminates Shelton. Garza tries to eliminate Mansoor after Carrillo almost eliminated Garza. And then so Mustafa Ali eliminates Garza. He starts giving Mansoor a bit of a talking to, and then eliminates him.
He says, don't trust anybody. That's rule lesson number whatever. Don't trust anybody. And then as soon as Mansoor turns his back on him, tosses him out. He says, what did I just tell you? Don't trust DTA.
DTA. So then Jinder eliminates R-Truth, and then Akira Tozawa. Down on the floor, Drew Gulak rolls up Tozawa to win the 24/7 title, and then Truth takes out Gulak, covers. He wins the 24/7 title, and then Tozawa hits Truth with a cannonball off the apron. He reclaims the 24/7 championship. Amos walks ringside, and then with a little bit of help from Jinder, eliminates the Viking Raiders by pulling them over the top rope. And then he starts throwing the Raiders around ringside. During a commercial break, Humberto Carrillo eliminates himself and Mustafa Ali with a clothesline over the top rope. Damian Priest eliminates Jinder. Jeff Hardy goes on a run, tries to hit Cedric with a twist of fate. Cedric escapes that. He tosses Hardy out, and then he starts talking crap, tells him to go home to the retirement home. And then Priest hits Cedric with hit the lights, tosses him over the top rope. Priest and Riddle are your final two. Seeing this little mini match between the two of them, I really want to see a 20-minute match between these two guys.
Oh, man,
I think it'd be fantastic.
I agree. This whole sequence, because this sequence was like 10 minutes long, or it was pretty long, yeah.
It was pretty long, yeah. I didn't write down note by note bit, but the finish saw Riddle catch a kick that Priest was trying to hit while he was on the apron. Riddle was in the ring. So he kind of drapes Priest's leg over the top rope, hits him with the running knee to knock him off the apron to the floor. And Riddle's music starts, and he walks over the timekeeper area and goes, no, play Randy's music. And so he's staying on the turnbuckle, and Randy's pyro comes down. He's like all surprised, like, oh yeah, he's got pyro. He hits the pose. It's good stuff. It's really good stuff.
I'd be pretty uncomfortable if somebody started doing that. You know, it's like, hey, we have a relationship, we have a bond. You know, I'm trying to take the slow road with it,
but
and he just starts.
You're not me.
Yeah, you're not me. Backstage, they do like a recap, I think, of like the Alexa stuff. Backstage, Shayna is shuffling some cards. Nia says, "You getting ready for a card game or a match?" And she says, "I do this to keep my head clear." She says, "You know what? It's Alexa's fault. We're not in Money in the Bank. Now it's my turn to do something about that." And then Nia, Shayna, and Reggie all walk off, and you see Alexa lurking behind them.
Yep. We get a quick shot of Jackson Riker. Oh, wow. He's taking the leather strap for a strap match later in the evening, and he's slapping a road case with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Then we had an AJ Styles interview. I love this because he referenced Steiner math, Larson.
He did. Although he didn't say drastic go down. He said drastically.
Drastically go down. I think drastic go down would have been a bit too on the nose, but he mentions, he says, with Riddle already having been in a match tonight, Drew getting banged up last week, my chances of winning drastic go down, or their chances of winning drastic go down. He says, the interviewer, Kevin, brings up Amos being out there earlier, and he says, "Hey, I was just out there scouting AJ's potential competition." They roll footage of last week. AJ calls Kevin a hypocrite, saying that he's given Amos grief for doing the same thing to the Viking Raiders as they did to him. AJ says, "Fortunately, I have the advantage with both the other guys banged up. When I win Money in the Bank, I have a full year to plan for the perfect moment to cash in."
Yep. We get a shot of Nikki Cross warming up backstage. Lucha House Party walk up to her, wish her luck. And then Sarah steps in for an interview. Nikki says she's aspiring to be a superhero. No, she's almost a superhero. She says she's found something inside of her that was always there. She now has the courage to show it. Everyone has that feeling inside that they can do better and be better. And this outfit represents that mindset, the mindset of embracing it and going for it. She says, "Look, I qualified for Money in the Bank. Imagine me with the contract. I would be an inspiration for so many girls and boys out there." And then she calms herself down. So you got to focus on your match tonight against Shayna. And then she says, "I'm almost a superhero." And then she kind of redubs herself Nikki Ash, which commentary kind of ran with, but also kind of didn't.
Yeah, I wonder if that's going to be a thing. It sounds like they want to make it a thing. I hope they don't, because Nikki Cross is such a great name. I know she was Nikki Storm back before WWE, which is probably a better name than Nikki Ash. But I noticed too, she got rid of the blue eye makeup from her mask. And so you can see now, I like this a lot better. It looks a lot less cumbersome, and you can see her wonderfully expressive eyes. I give a thumbs up. This is sort of what I was looking for from last week. So that's good.
Yeah. Then we got our match, Nikki Cross's match against Shayna Baszler. So Shayna has the early advantage. And that is until Nikki avoids a running knee, drop kicks Shayna out of the ring, and then Alexa Bliss walks out to the apron. And it's kind of funny because Shayna's out there ringside, and she's like telling Nia and Reggie, "Don't look up there. Don't look at him. Don't look at Alexa. Don't look." So anyways, we go to commercial, we come back. Shayna's hitting a leg kick, hits Nikki with a knee. That gets her a 2, follows a gut-wrench suplex, another running knee. She puts Nikki on the top. Nikki fights off Shayna, hits a tornado DDT. And at this point, Alexa Bliss starts kind of walking from the ramp around the ring opposite Hard Cam. And Nia meets her over there, and she's starting to kind of hypnotize her a little bit. Reggie comes from behind Bliss and grabs her by the shoulder. So Nia snaps out of it. Bliss then kicks Nia kind of in the hip leg area, and then in one fluid motion kicks Nia in front of her, and then sends her leg back and kicks Reginald right in his front area. And so she's backing up the ramp, kind of laughing. Meanwhile, in the ring, Nikki rolls up Shayna. Shayna kicks out at 2, drops Nikki with the clothesline, goes for another gut-wrench suplex. Nikki escapes that and wins with the crucifix pin.
Yeah, so Shayna, the idea is she was still sort of distracted by what Alexa was doing up there on the stage to allow Nikki to take full advantage of that. Another win for Nikki Ash or Cross. Somebody here mentioned in chat that apparently WWE has trademarked Nikki Ash. So it sounds like that might be the thing. It just doesn't really roll off the tongue as much as Nikki Cross does.
I know.
Whatever.
And they got to give commentary the direction that start calling her Nikki Ash if that's going to be the That's where they're going to go with it going forward,
Yeah,
because they were going back and forth.
it's fine. We'll get used to it. Like once they go full bore with it, we'll get used to it. It is what it is. So yeah, that was good stuff. Yeah, the Alexa thing there was pretty cool. I like that. I mean, the thing that works so well, I think, with all this is that Shayna does a really good job of staying in character as that sort of badass, but she has to deal with absurd situations. And she's able to stay in character while doing that, which actually makes it kind of entertaining. And from like different interviews that I've seen her in, she's talked about that being a new challenge for her. She said, it's easy to be the tyrant of NXT, but now on main roster dealing with a bunch of other stuff. I'm paraphrasing completely here, obviously. It's a different challenge for her, and I think she's doing pretty well with it. I like it. I mean, it doesn't always work, but as we've seen with like the Lily thing, but when they keep it relatively grounded, it actually is fairly entertaining stuff.
Yeah, and you could admire someone's performance while realizing that the creative involved in the performance isn't the best. And I think Alexa's been doing a good job with what everybody in the storyline's been doing a good job with what they've been given. Just sometimes what they're given isn't the best.
Yeah.
Last night was pretty decent, but the other weeks where it's been kind of meh.
Frederick the Dino here in our Twitch chat says, I've heard speculation via the Fightful review last night that the name change might be because they're planning on bringing Karrion Kross up. And they don't want matching names for wrestlers. Yeah, they've always been averse to doing that. Like over in AEW, you got Page, Cage. You got a ton of people like that. I still can tell the difference between Hangman Page and Ethan Page. It's not a big deal, but I understand that's been WWE's philosophy for a while now. After that, we had a Kofi Kingston promo. He says, he comes out and says, there are moments in our lives that change us for better or worse. I'm not sure how last week affected me quite yet. Hearing Woods screaming in pain, my brother screaming in pain, in that cell with me on the outside, unable to help him. Woods came out there to have my back, and when he needed me, I couldn't be there for him. He says, a lot of people disrespect Woods. They say he's not up to snuff in the ring. But last week, taking it to Lashley, he showed the world who he is, and it's time for everyone to put respect on his name. Bob won the match fair and square, but what happened afterwards was not okay. MVP locked the door, dangled the key in front of me as they grated Woods' face against the door. I can't get that image out of my head, but believe this, I will make Lashley pay. And then MVP comes out.
So he walks out to the ramp and he says, I thought I heard Kofi say you were going to beat Bob Lashley and win the title. And he has a good laugh about that, calls it one of the most ridiculous things he's ever said. And he says, given all the ridiculous stuff you've done as a member of the New Day, that's saying quite a bit. He says, but to be frank, they're looking forward to Money in the Bank because they'll finally be in front of a live audience. He calls Kofi a feel-good story, but truth be told, you're no threat to Bob Lashley. And Bobby asked MVP to convey a message to Kofi, and that was the following. He says, I enjoyed what I did to Woods. Looks forward to embarrassing Kofi at Money in the Bank. Says what Brock did to Kofi will look like child's play compared to what Lashley is going to do. And Kofi says, I'm tired of hearing about Lashley. I don't think he's that guy anymore. I think he's getting soft. Says at Hell in a Cell, Drew nearly beat Lashley within an inch of his life. If MVP hadn't grabbed Drew's ankle, Drew probably would have won. Says Woods was this close to beating Lashley. Put him through a table. Kofi says, I've beat Bobby. I could beat him again. Each week, a layer of that almighty is being stripped away, and by Money in the Bank, he might look like MVP, running around in overpriced suits, hobbling around, trying to grab some semblance of success.
I like this next bit here. This is really good because it's the kind of thing where it's so much more effective when the heel's making good points, Because when Kofi's saying this stuff, he's obviously trying to play mind games with MVP, but I'm like, man, I don't know. Lashley is dominant. Whether he has MVP with him or not, that dude he's brutal. Mm-hmm. And so MVP gets pissed off about that and says, no, I do what I do for Lashley because he has put in the work. He put in the sacrifice. I do what I do for him because he deserves it. We've been together for a year now and he's put in the work. And Kofi says, what? I didn't put in the work? He says, when I was champ, I never took a day off. I took the title all over the world. I took it to Ghana, West Africa to show kids anything is possible. You've got Bob taking days off. You've got him taking his eyes off the prize, and when you take your eyes off the prize, you lose the prize. Someone else gains it, and that's going to be me. And MVP says, well, when you went home to Ghana to feed your ego, were you working hard? He says, I don't think so. Let me make something clear. I respect your optimism. But if I recall last week, Woods was optimistic about beating Lashley at Hell in a Cell. And not only did that not happen, his injuries are so extensive he didn't make it this week, and he probably won't make it next week. Kofi says, yeah, he's going to be back next week because he's not milking his injuries like you have been for the past 6 months. And MVP says, whoa, milking? He was like, I got a bad knee. I am injured. So Kofi goes out to confront him. MVP, takes his cane, goes for a swing, gets hit with the Trouble in Paradise, and he gets laid out, and Kofi stands over him, starts, give him some.
Oh, I love the crap talk that Kofi's doing.
It's great.
Like, you weren't too hurt to grab Drew's ankle.
Yeah,
you weren't too hurt to tease me with that key while Woods getting beat up.
Yeah,
but now you're hurt.
Yeah,
now you're hurt. You're hurting bad.
This is good stuff. This is really good stuff.
Loved it. After that, with Eva Marie Piper Niven interview. So Eva says Doudrop made a rookie mistake last week and was overwhelmed about being at the forefront of the evolution. So Eva requested a rematch against Asuka and Naomi. It's a simple thing. It took a sentence to justify the rematch.
Yeah,
it's a real simple thing.
Yeah,
things they don't do very often. Anyways, she requested the rematch so Doudrop can learn from her mistakes. The whole time, Piper Niven's back there. Like, Eva Marie would look at him, and she'd, put on a good face, but when Eva wasn't looking, it was all...
Yep.
So that match was next. Early on, Doudrop misses a senton on Naomi. Asuka gets the tag in. She gets a missile drop kick, hip attack, looking for a German suplex. Doudrop grabs the rope to block it. Walks right into a head kick, though. Pushes Asuka into the corner. Hits a splash. He's looking for a slam, maybe Michinoku driver. Asuka escapes, kind of counters with could have been a sleeper, or it could have been Asuka lock. Anyways, Doudrop flings Asuka off. She goes to her corner looking for a tag. Once again, Eva drops off the apron. Asuka tries to attack Doudrop from behind. She evades, hits Asuka with a senton, and then a great fun splash to get the win.
Yeah. Oh, it looked great.
It was fantastic. So afterwards, Mike Rowe is about to announce them as the winners. Eva Marie grabs the mic, says that she's the winner, and man, Doudrop not happy.
She wasn't happy the entire, it was great because she was so defiant after the win. She was like, yeah, look at that. Look what I just did. And then to stick it to her, Eva Marie got on the mic because they were just about to announce, them both as the winners.
Yep.
She said, no, it was me, Eva Marie. It was great heel stuff.
It is.
It's like when you want to see the person get their ass kicked, that's when you know they're doing a good job. If you don't want to see them on the TV, they're doing a bad job.
Yeah.
If you want to see them get their ass kicked, they're doing a good job. So I like this. This is good stuff.
Yeah. More good stuff next. Miz and Morrison have an interview. Morrison's talking about how he's getting moist thinking about winning Money in the Bank. Miz says under his tutelage, Morrison will have no problem cashing in. And then Miz, because he talks about, I know when to cash in, nothing escapes my perception. At this point, the camera's pretty tight on them.
This was hilarious.
And Ricochet is the one holding the interview mic.
Well, hold on a second. You missed. There was a great bit of comedy when Morrison says, yeah, Miz, he's not the biggest, fastest, or the strongest. And Miz says, okay, but he's like,
smartest.
But yeah, smartest, yeah. And so he's just, it was really funny stuff. See, like you said, the camera goes in on them as they're doing this, and it backs up, and Ricochet has the mic.
Great.
Oh, that was funny.
And so Ricochet's ribbing Miz for not noticing, considering nothing escapes his perception. And Miz is like, oh, that's all part of the strategy. And Ricochet, it says, if that's the case, this must be too. And he produces one of the drip sticks. And Morrison looks under his coat and's like, hey, that's mine. And then Ricochet squirts Morrison with it, and then the Miz. It was good stuff.
I love the build, too, because he had it like this, and Miz was like, you better not do that. He's like, I will do it. You better not. I will do it. And then he does it. It was pretty funny stuff.
It was great. It was good stuff. It was really good stuff.
And then we had Ricochet versus Morrison, the match. And, this is all really great stuff. We had, there's sort of mid-match, they find themselves on the outside, and Morrison's on one side of Miz because Miz is out there with his wheelchair near commentary. And Ricochet wants Miz to back up so that he can go launch himself at Morrison. And Miz is like, no, I'm not going to do that, man. And he's like, come on, I want to launch him. And he's like, no, you're not that guy, man. You're not that guy. So Ricochet backs up, and then he launches himself off the handle or the armrest of the wheelchair onto Morrison. They go at it some more in the ring. Morrison goes for Starship Pain. Ricochet moves out of the way. And then Morrison ends up going to the outside and sort of perches himself on top of the barricade. And so Ricochet is like, okay. So he like jumps up to the top rope, does a springboard off that, and does a fun splash onto Morrison over the barricade. It looked harsh. It was great.
It was great. Yeah, so Ricochet, I believe, sends Morrison out. He's going for a suicide dive, and then Morrison leaps over the barricade to escape it, and then kind of sits on the barricade, just kind of taunting Ricochet a little bit. And then Ricochet just launched himself. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Of course,
they
that
both
put them
counted out.
Yeah, they put them both out, so double count out.
It made sense.
After that, we're backstage. Charlotte and Natalya and Tamina, they all just kind of recap their beef with their opponents. It's forgettable stuff.
Yeah, this isn't strong material for them to be working with.
It not.
Just isn't.
It isn't. So then we get the match: Charlotte, Natalya, Tamina versus Dana Brooke, Mandy Rose, and Rhea Ripley. And I mean, the match, I don't know. The match was fine. It was whatever.
It was all right.
Yeah.
But they had the little picture-in-picture for Mandy and Dana and Rhea to drop a little promo. And that was cut short because a brawl broke out in the ring. Everybody was brawling. And eventually, the faces clear the ring. And the Dana Brooks isolated for a good stretch until she escapes a slam from Charlotte. She rolls her up. And when Charlotte kicks out, she sends Dana into her own corner. So Rhea gets the tag in. She takes it to Charlotte for a while. Charlotte eventually tags in Natalya. She rolls up Rhea. That gets her a 2. Rhea hits her with a kick. And then Mandy and Dana come in, hit a double T move. They get a 2 count. So Charlotte chop blocks Rhea. Things kind of break down here. Mandy rolls up Natalya, gets a 2. Then they trade roll-ups. Eventually, Natalya rolls through one, looks for a sharpshooter. Charlotte tags herself in. She hits Mandy with a huge boot to get the W. Yeah. And afterwards, Rhea just comes up behind Charlotte, chop blocks her, rolls out of the ring, and laughs at her.
Yeah. I don't really know who I'm supposed to root for here, man. Like,
I know. When I saw these teams divide up, I'm like, all right, I guess this is who they're considering the faces and the heels now. Because that first week when Mandy and Dana were in the ring, I was like, are they supposed to be the heels here?
Oh, that's even a better point. Yeah. I was just talking about between Rhea and Charlotte, but yeah, Natalya and Tamina, they're supposed to be the good guys, right? And then Mandy and Dana are supposed to be like the bad guys?
Not according to this. Because Charlotte's...
Yeah.
I think Charlotte's firmly established as heel here.
Yeah, am I supposed to cheer for Rhea Ripley? Are they expecting that? Like her character?
I'm supposed
to be on board with her character?
I think so.
Whiny. Yeah, I don't know about all that. It's not working, man. It's not working.
No, it's not working.
But Becky's gonna be on SmackDown?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure for Nikki Ash. Anyways, so backstage, Riker is flagellating himself. Tozawa runs through. Truth runs after Tozawa. He stops. Asks Riker why he's flagellating himself. Riker doesn't answer him. He's like a NPC who doesn't talk. He's like a glitchy cutscene. He says, he asks, man, do you want to talk about it? Riker says, I'm preparing for battle. It's so cartoonish.
It's
like
so
they took this guy's actual service and they just turned him into like a crazy person.
Tonight, purging my body of weakness.
Yeah. He says, we'll be bound together. There's nowhere to hide for Elias. I'm purging myself of any weakness and exploring ways to inflict the most pain on my opponent. And then Truth sort of cracks a joke. It's all awkward. Riker glitches out. Doesn't even acknowledge him.
It's so
weird.
awkward.
It's so glitchy. My career. It's like 2K22. My career.
It really is. It really is. After that, we have that match where Elias and Jackson Riker in a strap match. We get a little Elias picture-in-picture promo. Talks about how Riker traded in the truth for a lie, so they might be tied up tonight. But but literally and figuratively, he's going to sever those ties when he takes his trap, composes the masterpiece of destruction. Anyways, Elias has the upper hand for a while. Eventually, though, Riker turns the tables, hits him with the Boss Man Slam for the win. As strap matches go, it was fine. But
are you looking? So we got another strap match coming up, right? Then QT Marshall and Cody.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's going to be better than this.
You know, strap matches don't really do a whole lot for me, I'll be honest.
Yeah, same. I don't know if there's a strap match that I've really been Wasn't JBL versus Eddie Guerrero? Wasn't that like a strap
There was
match? Or bull rope
the
match or
Daniel
something?
Bryan Fiend.
Oh,
one
that was good.
That was good.
It was like motivated though. That was good.
Yeah.
I don't know what the point of this was. What do you think
Well,
of
the point of
Elias?
this is that Elias kept running off when Jackson Riker had a match with him. I get me as motivated. I get the stipulation.
What do you think about Riker's new ring gear? It's like bright red and it's like Hogan.
It's
colors.
red and yellow. I know it's red and
Which
yellow, and the eyes on the
Pretty
back.
apropos, right?
And the eyes on the back remind me of an old No Fear shirt.
yeah, it totally was a No Fear logo, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It all seems appropriate for him though. I wonder what kind of response he's going to get in front of crowds.
Probably silence.
Oh man, they let go of Aleister Black and they kept this dude. That's shocking. And then there's like rumors there might be more. Like it's entirely within reason that they might get rid of. I'm just going to throw some names out that are typically like not really used that much. Mustafa Ali, Carrillo, Garza, and they'd keep this dude. Just man, there's something wrong there, dude. There's something wrong.
I don't get it at all.
They'd keep this guy.
So next we have Matt Riddle. He's backstage, like really focusing. And then Damian Priest walks up.
Hey,
Like, hey
Riddle,
man, I
do
just
you
want
want
to
a donut?
congratulate you on your win. Wish you good luck in the main event. And Riddle says, I'm not Riddle. I'm Randy Orton.
And this was great. Priest says,
Yeah.
"Okay, Randy. Well, if you find Riddle, tell him the new Burger King Burger's out. This has got to be an integration, right? This has got to be an ad integration. There's no graphics on the screen for Burger King, but I swear it sounds like an ad integration. The new Burger King Burger's out, which I want to know more about that.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Riddle's like, whoa, what? Hey. And he's like, okay, dude, I'm not Orton. And he says, hey, man, you know what? It's really cool what you're doing for Randy. He's lucky to have you as his partner. And then in tandem with me, Riddle says, aw, because that's what I said. I was like, what a nice thing to say to a person.
I know. And so then Priest leaves, and the Riddle kind of goes back to channeling Randy, does the pose again.
Yeah. We mentioned this earlier, but we'll recap real quick. Drew McIntyre has an interview.
You know what I thought about last night for some reason? I don't know why. Drew McInfart.
What's that from again? What was that? Was that
Someone
like a
said that on
promo?
Raw. Yeah.
Yeah, Drew
It was Adam Pierce. Accidentally said Drew McInfart.
Drew McIntyre. Who's Drew McIntyre? So Drew McIntyre has an interview.
I don't know why that just entered my brain last night. Drew McIntyre.
We gotta use it. We gotta grab a gif of that. Drew McIntyre.
Oh my
McIntyre.
gosh.
So Drew has an interview where he's asked, are you gonna win tonight or what? And he's like, oh, I've got a story: the English versus the Scots versus the Irish. And then he's just talking about some battle, and he's being very coy about it. He's like, oh, or something like that. And it's all a bunch of ridiculousness. He talks about Sheamus, and then he says, and in the end, the grand finale, I saved Christmas. And he's like, what, you saved Christmas? He's like, no, I didn't save Christmas. He like almost claymores this poor guy.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was a ridiculous question.
Yeah.
I'm not going to show my hand, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to slap around Riddle, going to kick AJ's head off his shoulders, and I'm going to win this match and win Money in the Bank.
According to Metal Nerves, Shotzi Blackheart also called herself Shotzi Blackfart on Twitter. Oh, that's great. And then we had this banger Mania main event level main event.
This was great.
Holy crap.
This was
Drew
great.
McIntyre versus Riddle versus AJ Styles. Jeez, this was brutal. It was great. I just sort of sat back and enjoyed it. I didn't really write a lot of
it was
notes
so good.
besides Riddle and Styles putting Drew through that commentary table.
Oh, it was great.
Riddle channels Randy Orton, hits a draping DDT on Styles, tries for an RKO, gets countered into a burning hammer. Don't see those very often. Riddle gets rid of AJ. Drew takes it to Matt Riddle. He comes back on the outside, laying in kicks and knee strikes to both until AJ ducks a PK attempt. Riddle ends up PKing the steel steps. So he's just selling it like crazy. The ref runs over. More refs come over.
And he's screaming, it's broken, it's broken, it's broken.
Yeah, they start to carry him off, and he's like, oh, Randy, I'm sorry, Randy. And And then, so that just sort of leaves AJ and Drew. They have kind of had like a mini match themselves.
Which is what AJ, during his promo earlier, was what he wanted. He wanted that one-on-one match. He thought
Yeah.
it should be a one-on-one match now that Randy was out of there. So that's, a nice little kind of callback to that promo.
And it's great now because it's still technically a no DQ match because it's still technically a triple threat match. So
Yeah.
things like earlier on, he had Riddle in a submission and Riddle gets the ropes. And it doesn't matter because it's no DQ, even though Drew is laid out by the table. It was good stuff.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. So after Riddle gets escorted backstage, Drew's tossing AJ around with a bunch of belly-to-bellies. It's a neck breaker. Looks for a future shock. AJ escapes that. Drew hits a spine buster anyways. That gets a 2 count. Drew puts AJ in the top rope. He's looking for a superplex. AJ escapes, trips up Drew, hits a Ushigoroshi. That gets him a 2. So AJ's hitting a few strikes. Drew just grabs a bang Michinoku driver.
Mike, it's so fluid and fast. It's so awesome.
Yes. Explosive. That's the word for it. Mm-hmm. So that gets Drew a 2. So he charges AJ. AJ trips him up, sinks in a calf crusher. And at this point, Riddle's limping back to the ring. And so while AJ has Drew in the calf crusher, Riddle tries to put the Bromission on AJ. AJ starts elbowing Riddle's ankle. He releases it, then gets right back on it. Eventually, though, Drew eats a kick from Riddle. AJ goes for a nominal forearm. Riddle counters with a knee, hits an RKO that looked great.
That was the knee strike RKO was like so fluid. And I was like, holy shit, he did it. Like, I was like, oh my God. And then Amos comes in and pulls Riddle off AJ, and then Drew hits a Claymore on Riddle for 3. Oh man, that crowd would have been just going nuts. Nuts.
What a fantastic match. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, that was really great stuff.
It was great. You want to answer some questions?
Yeah, I got a thread here on the Patreon. Just a quick reminder, the patreon.com/Steven Larson. It's where we offer up our question thread if you can't make a live show to ask questions here on Twitch. And also we've got some bonus content. Today we're going to be doing Friendo Club TV powering. We're going to power rank some stuff. And then coming up pretty shortly in the next couple of weeks, we've got a brand new show that's going to be exclusive to Friendo Club TV on the Patreon. And it's The Numbers Don't Lie, where we're going to do Going in Raw Math. Along with all the Friendos, we're gonna rank. We're going to do scientific mathematicians.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. And then, of course, at $20 a month, you can get your hands on the Friendo Care Package, including the Going in Raw comic book, a full-color adventure featuring Steven Larson and this giant frog right here. It's good stuff.
Wearing a diaper, no less.
In a diaper. And then you get an 8x10, some stickers. It's the Friendo Care Package. It's great.
Great stuff. Yeah. It's great. YouTube being over here, the Twitch says, I think Sean Ross Sapp said this, but if Drew wins Money in the Bank and Lashley holds the belt for the year, Drew has to cash in, slowly turning Drew heel to the point he costs Lashley the title and cashes in this time next year, kind of mirroring how Lashley and MVP set it up for Lashley to win the belt. I think that could be great if WWE had the patience for it.
Yeah, it's a possibility. It'd be weird. I don't know. It'd be weird for Drew just to always have that Money in the Bank. I feel like, yeah, you could turn him heel. You could do that. It'd be interesting. It'd be different. I'd be down for them to do something like that.
Yeah.
I wonder how hard they're going to go on the cash-ins on the night, though. I wonder if there's like, we're going to, this is in front of fans. We want to kick things off strong with just 2 cash-ins,
Well, I kind of wonder if I've been kind of pessimistic about Seth's chances of winning Money in the Bank, but they could do a thing where he does win and tries to cash in, and that's what ends up costing Edge the match. Even and Seth doesn't officially cash in, thus motivating their SummerSlam match potentially.
Could be. That could be. Yeah, I don't know.
One way or the other, Seth is costing Edge that match at Money in the Bank.
Right now, I'm kind of torn between Riddle and Seth. I think adding Riddle to the Money in the Bank scheme with Randy there, I think there's a lot of opportunities there, but I don't know. Let's see here. Anthony R. What other wrestler on Monday Night Raw do you think could imitate another wrestler's moves as well as Riddle? AJ Styles. Is anybody on? I know Mansoor did the voice of Cole Quinn. I wonder if he was used for mocap stuff as well.
That I don't know.
That's a possibility. I know they do sometimes they do mocap stuff.
Yeah. Peaceful Boy, what's up, Stephen Larson? Do you think the Hurt Business could have been WWE's own version of Suzuki Goon, but with more class? I don't know if anybody has more class than Minoru Suzuki. He seems like the classiest dude.
Yeah, but they got some. It's a motley crew that Suzuki.
That I agree with.
You know, you got one guy cosplaying as an opera guy, and slash stripper, which is great. But you know, I wouldn't see Tai Chi in Hurt Business, for example.
Yes.
Gregory Faella was Ricochet crossbodying Morrison over the barricade, one of the best Raw spots with no fans. Yeah, they're not going to be able to do that again, huh?
I know.
Only got a couple more
barricade.
weeks.
I guess they could set up something else to do something comparable, but yeah.
Yeah.
RTG, it would be really cool if Riddle becomes so much like Randy. He's the one that turns on Randy, and that's what makes Randy respect him.
I've seen some people suggest that. That's not a terrible idea. If you inhabit somebody, you know, in character for so long, you might become them, you know.
Yep.
And then even Dan Barber here in chat brings that up as a possibility. I'm sorry, not in chat, in Patreon.
So does Burno. Says something comparable with some bits. Thank you.
Eddie Brock's Venom says, why in kayfabe, why didn't Nikki get a Raw title match? She got to win over Charlotte, #1 contender twice, and Ripley as well. There is no answer to that. I don't know.
Reason. They don't have power ranks. That's why.
Yeah, they don't use the rankings that AEW does. So I don't know. You'd think that it would justify a title match.
Chill Gaming Inc. without throwing it in the pits of hell. What way would you make the 24/7 title relevant?
You know, there was that brief moment when Shelton had it in the Hurt Business, and that's how you would do it. You make it more of like you establish it as more of an open challenge title. You know, you intimidate the field of your typical 24/7 participants to the point that they don't mess with you when you're just trying to eat some food, you know? And you say, hey, I'm going to give everybody an opportunity at this every single week. It's going to be an open challenge thing. But if I'm just trying to, you know, to get dressed, leave me the hell alone.
Yeah. It should. Yeah, that's totally what it should be. Every week, open challenge. Yosh will ask, you guys going to SummerSlam? We'll be in Vegas, but we're not actually going to the show.
Right, yeah, we're doing SummerSlam without SummerSlam. But we're going to have a friendo meet up there. Where we get to hang out with some friendos, and we'll figure all that out. Yeah, we're about less than 2 months away. Marvin McGee, with all these wins, will Nikki get that briefcase and cash in the same night? You want to blow the roof off the place? Charlotte wins against Rhea Ripley, and then Nikki Cross cashes in. And maybe Rhea, I mean, because, you know, they like to protect Charlotte. Maybe Rhea helps just a little bit for Nikki to get that win. And then she's the underdog with the title and everybody's gunning for her. That's a perfect story right there.
Yeah,
and it would blow the roof off that place.
Huge. It'd be pretty huge. Night by night, what Raw superstar would you invite to your home to have a pleasant morning conversation over a nice bowl of Cinnamon Life cereal? It's a great cereal, by the way. Cinnamon Life is really good.
Yeah, that kind of makes me want to go get some. So what type of superstar? Does it have to be a Raw superstar?
Yeah, what Raw superstar?
Because I was going to say Regal, because that'd be lovely. Do you have any Cinnamon Toast Crunch? What about
Kofi?
Frosted Mini Wheats? Oh, it's going to be MVP for me. Maybe he'll bring his honeys over. And they would just like wander around. Sorry, ladies.
Shane's birthday tweet: has there ever been a heel they try to get over as a face that has been so unresponsive and not working as Riker?
Hey, man, just wait until fans are there. Just wait until fans. It'll be just crickets.
Yep.
Just dead.
Yep.
Just dead.
Jorge D with WB trademarking Happy Corbin today. Can you take a guess as to what his gimmick will be? Will he sound different? No, I don't think he'll sound different. I don't know.
It might be some goofy. He'll be so depressed. He takes on a mentor, like Chad Gable. He'll join Alpha Academy, and Gable will be like, "Hey, you need to actualize your state of mind. You're now happy, Corbin. Oh, okay. And he's just like fed up with it.
Maybe. I don't know. I worry it's going to be like a Shorty G thing.
That's exactly what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jay Singh, the two of you are WWE superstars, just about to leave the Performance Center for NXT. Nick Khan comes to you and tells you there simply isn't enough money in the budget to create brand new entrance themes for you. You are instead asked to each choose a piece of classical or otherwise royalty-free music as your entrance music. What
Can I make my own music?
No, you have to choose royalty-free. I would do this. I would get one of those old industrial or educational. I would do this. My Tron would just be Red Asphalt.
It's good.
And the score to that, because it's probably menacing. Like the intro score to Red Asphalt is probably really. It's probably synth heavy.
Yeah, that's good.
These kids didn't take the advice of their adult parents, and not to be careful in your car. And then you see people's bits everywhere.
Oh my goodness. I was trying to see if there was a list of relatively popular.
I wonder if the WCW NWO Revenge theme is available. Like, hey, does WWE own that in their catalog? Down, Steve. The Jez Show is rating us with a party of 4. What's up, Jez Show? Thank you very much. That's very nice of you.
Thank you so much.
Let's see here. Moses Supposes says, who from Raw do you move to SmackDown during the draft to freshen up the Intercontinental title scene? Well, I think that title scene is pretty great, but I would move Ali if it meant he was in the Intercontinental title scene. I think
I think that'd be great. I think that would be great. That would be great.
It'd be, you know what classical music I'd use? I'd use whatever the Ludovico technique. Beethoven's Fifth, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be that.
But here's the thing with that, even though that piece of music's in the public domain.
No, I know. The recording.
Individual recordings are still copywritten. So you'd still have to have someone in-house that redo their version of it.
Well, I'd have... who's their guy
Jim
now?
Johnston. I don't remember.
Yeah,
Jim Johnston.
I'd plunk down for Jim Johnston, man. I'd be like, rehire him, Khan.
The Tall Pine said I would really like to see Xavier Woods chase the U.S. title and do a 3 pay-per-view feud with Sheamus. That would be great.
That'd be cool. Yeah, man. Couple of quality match guys right there. Joe Hansen says, I just have one simple question. Did Steve see the LA Knight Ric Flair Card Shield commercial? Yeah, I saw it a couple weeks ago. They've been running that for a while now, I think. Oh, that's funny. Alex Foster says, apparently Vince McMahon is a Dave Chappelle fan. What other forms of entertainment would surprise you if Vince was a fan of theirs? Bo Burnham. I watched that. I watched half, maybe more than half of the Inside special. It's very depressing, but it is very impressive as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. At a certain point, you're just like, okay, I get it. You're a conflicted content creator, and you're just spending too much time inside. I get it. I don't need an hour and a half of it. But the songs are very clever.
Oh, there's songs in it.
The whole thing is song after song after song.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's just a collection of songs.
I don't know anything about it, honestly.
Yeah.
Jimmy Thomas says, Sheamus has yet to defend the U.S. title in kayfabe. Why hasn't he been stripped of it yet? Well,
wait, who are we talking about?
Sheamus.
Oh, well, he's injured. I think there's an exception if you're injured. Actually, there's probably not an exception. If you're
there's not. People have been hurt, and then they stripped him of the title.
Yeah. He's very clever.
Yeah, I guess so.
They sort of talk to him. Hey, how's your nose? Oh, it hurts. That's
it's shredded. I got to go to the doctor right now.
Yeah, exactly. I can't talk about this right now. Let's see here.
Mr. Dopester says Kane. I don't know what it's in reference to though. Maybe someone that was healed, they turned face and it didn't get a good response.
That could be. Cameron Bartolozzo says, "Oh wait, yeah." He says, "Do you guys know Kevin Nash was in the musical movie Rock of Ages?"
Mm-hmm.
Which one was that?
There's one with Tom Cruise in it, I think, right?
Oh, I never saw that one.
I don't think a lot of people did.
And then Church said, "This is a cool question." Says, "Do you guys think the rise of cable and satellite in the Midwest and other rural areas caused the rise of the wrestling boom in the 90s? I would think so, yeah. He says, "If so, what technology-based boom do you think would help a new audience find professional wrestling?" I mean, isn't that sort of like, Twitter and social media? Like that's, I'm trying to think
YouTube
what,
and Twitter, social media,
what kind of technology do you think the government's using for those UFOs? Could that help people find pro wrestling?
Yeah, that may be. I don't know.
Hard holographic technology?
Maybe.
Warp
Wait,
technology.
hard holographic technology? I'm not familiar with that.
I don't know.
Did you just make that up?
No, it's something Danovic tweeted out. It was like something like he was like, it's probably just sort of like I don't know, hard light technology or some shit like that. I was like, whoa, Matt's blowing my mind right now.
Yeah.
That's
this
crazy.
must be some sort of stealthing type thing then.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I
It's
mean, I've
like a
heard they were able
cloaking
to do
device.
that. Like they were able to make like cloaking robes or something.
Mm-hmm.
It was like some shit out of Harry Potter, but it was real.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah, it's crazy. So all sorts of weird shit in the world, man. Anyways, so yeah, that's going to do it for us. Twitch chat, stick around. We'll answer some more of your questions. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow with our NXT review. Later on today, though, for Friendo Club TV, we're going to power rank some stuff.
Yep.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Bye.